All right, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind of a Young Entrepreneur. Today it's Saturday, it's the 27th of September, and I've just come home from my gym, or like I've just had a workout. And while I was in the gym, like normally I listen to Theo Vaughn just to have a laugh while I'm like doing my thing, having the workout, walking on the treadmill. And today I stumbled upon or not stumble upon, I have listened to it before, but it's funny how you re-listen to some things and you just have total different perspective on things. And this time I listened to the episode with Tony Robbins, and I actually got a ton of value from it, and he totally changed my perspective on things. And it's funny how you can be stuck in this route and just be moving on your like daily routines, and you start to tear yourself down. But by me listening to that, like it totally changed my perspective on some things. And yeah, it's just wild. And he talked about how like the thing that I thought was most fascinating was he talked about like if you change your language, you change your focus, and you change your physiology, you change your life, and you change your identity. And like in the past few days, I feel like I've just been circling around, and I needed some new input, some new things just to like pep me up and do something again to have that drive, because like starting a business can be draining, and it's an emotional roller coaster, I will say. But this thing he talked about, if you change your language, how you speak to yourself, like that just determines everything. He talked about when he had these seminars where people attend to, they were 12 hours, and he would say like when it's lunchtime there will be a nutrition snack. Like most people, they will just like think to themselves, oh my god, nutritious. But by just changing one word and saying there will be a great snack or a tasteful snack, like all of a sudden people will just rise up, and that only that one shift, that one word just changed the whole thing. So how you speak to yourself, the language that you use to yourself, if you're beating yourself up all the time and saying all these bad things to yourself, that will have an effect on you. And sometimes I feel like you can just be stuck in these things, and if things go not the way that you planned, you'll start to beat yourself up and talk down on yourself, and that just like ruins everything. And so that's really anything that I will try to really improve myself on, and talk like correctly to me, pep myself up. Like you're constantly having this conversation with you inside your head. The other thing he talked about is your focus. Like what do you focus on? He in the podcast, like it was so interacting. So he made this experiment where you say, focus on something that's brown, and then like that was what he asked Theo One, and also like listeners. I started to like I was in the gym, and I started to look at things that were brown, and then he said, "Do you notice anything that was red?" And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't see anything like that." And then he started try to look at things that's red, and then I looked over, and I found multiple more things that had the color red. And then he said, like even though it wasn't like red, you still try to find nuances that maybe was another type of red and not quite red. But that's the way you focus on. Like your brain will always search for evidence and be like locked in on that thing, and just tell yourself the same story again and again and again and again, because that's the evidence. It has shows evidence. But there is two sides of the coin, as you've probably heard in my last video. And it is so fascinating like how this works. And if I'm just beating myself up and I'm saying like I can't get any clients, like I'm not worthy of this, or I don't have this, or I can't do this, I will try to find evidence on why I can't do it. But if I change the perspective and say like I can do this, I'm worthy of this, and like I'm even better than this, and all these things, when the bad thing doesn't become an option, I will start to search for the good things and prove things right. He told the story about how when he was a child, like his dad told him to go find the salt in the like a drawer, and he said, "I can't find the salt." And like his dad started to yell at him, and like there was all this chaotic thing, and he just screamed, "I can't find the salt," even though it was right in front of him. Like his dad walked up and and took it and say, "Is that what you can't find?" It was right in front of his nose. But it's because his brain started to hypnotize himself to, like, he could see it, but like his brain won't accept it, because then he would lie to himself, and like we will do anything to protect our ego. So it's so wild how our brain works, and if you can do it in your favor, like I'm really trying hard to do it, because like it's only your thoughts and what you say to yourself that, like, it would either build you to the best man ever possible, the most successful one, that has a fulfilled life with everything that you want. Like a thought can do that, but also a thought can take you to the edge where you like almost want to take your life because you can't take it anymore. And if you can again like feed the ups and eliminate the downs, you are in it to win it. And that's like a constant battle. And I'm on the same battle ground as you guys, and I'm fighting in this as well. Not saying that I'm doing bad, but like being conscious about this and really trying to make this a part of your nervous system and your subconscious, so you will always think of this. Like, how do you talk to yourself? What do you focus on? If I'm focusing on I can't do this, like I will find evidence for what I can't do. And like, what feelings do you want to have? If I ask you, like, if you have anxiety or stuff like that, like what energy level are you at? You're probably at a 2 or something. But if you are excited, like what energy level would you be at? Probably an 8 or a 9. And what do you want the most? You want like high energy, because that brings you through the day. And on top of that, the third thing, so we have our language, our focus, and the third thing was our physiology. So like when we are excited, like we have our chest up, we have like our chest puffed up and chin up, and like shoulders are loose, and like we're just going on with the day and like having a blast. But if you are depressed, like you will just hunch down and like look down at the floor, and you'll be really monotone in your voice. When you're excited, you'll have variety and like try all these different things. So what do you want the most? Because you can pick and choose. It's only about the stories that you tell yourself and what you feed into your mind. So that is the thing. And I'm trying to constantly be aware of this, because that I know that is what will take me the longest, because like it will take me the furthest, because like I can have all the skills that I want, but if I'm telling myself the bad stories, like I'll just tear myself down. And another thing he talked about was these, like what creates an addiction or what you want is like there's, I can't remember, 7 factors or something like that. I can't remember the factors, but in order to have these things, you need to have, some of them was variety, certainty, being like feel like you're worthy enough, and all these kind of stuff. And the more you have, the more like you will be likely to stick with that habit, because this is what fulfills you. This is what life is about. And that's why when people are addicted to cigarettes, they are seeking the comfort of taking that deep breath and like calming down the nicotine. And that's just like a big hug for them. But how can you switch that out? And instead of numbing the pain, like most people, they will eat pills like antidepressants, and stuff like that. But that's not the root cause. And for example, me, I would sit there and scroll with my phone and try to seek a way out and escape it, and numb the thing that I'm trying to pursue, instead of like taking it by the horns and solving the root problem. So these are just some things and some thoughts that really started in my mind after I listened to this podcast, and it gave me a wake up call in some parts. So that's a ton of good stuff. Like, if you haven't heard that podcast, I will really suggest that you do it. It's Theo Vaughn's podcast with Tony Robbins as a guest. So watch that, listen to that, whatever you do. That was it for this video. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Peace. Bye.